As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. Will come when you have to rise above the rest and prove yourself. Your spirit never dies. Farewell, I've gone to take my throne above, but don't weep for me, 'cause this will be the labor of my love. Here we are, turn away.
Chris Gardner. How are you? Good morning. Chris Gardner.
Tell me how the sound is.
Chris Gardner. Good to see you again. Chris Gardner, pleasure. I've been sitting out there for the last half hour trying to come up with a story that would explain my being here dressed like this. And I wanted to come up with a story that would demonstrate qualities that I'm sure you all admire here, like earnestness or diligence or team playing to something. And I couldn't think of anything. So the truth is, I was arrested for failure to pay parking tickets.
Parking tickets?
And I ran all the way here from the Polk station, the police station.
What were you doing before you were arrested?
I was painting my apartment.
Is it dry now?
I hope so.
Jay says you're pretty determined.
Oh, he's been waiting outside the front of the building with some 40-pound gizmo for over a month.
He said you're smart.
I like to think so.
And you want to learn this business.
Yes, sir, I want to learn this business.
Have you already started learning on your own?
Absolutely.
Jay.
Yes, sir.
How many times have you seen Chris?
No, I don't know. One too many, apparently.
Is he ever dressed like this?
No. Jacket and tie.
First in your class? In school? High school?
Yes, sir.
How many in the class?
12. It's a small town.
I'll say.
But I was also first in my radar class in the Navy, and that was a class of 20. Can I say something? I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer. Is that fair enough?
Sound fair enough.
Chris, what would you say if a guy walked in for an interview without a shirt on? And I hired him. What would you say?
He must have had on some really nice pants.
Chris, I don't know how you did it dressed as a garbage man, but you really pulled it off in there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Twistle.
Hey, now you can call me Jay. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
So I'll let you know, Jay.
You'll let me know, Jay. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'll give you a call tomorrow sometime. And
What are you talking about? You hounded me for this. You stood here.
Listen, There's no salary.
No.
I was not aware of that. My circumstances have changed some, and I need to be certain that I'll be able to
Okay. Tonight, I swear, I will fill your spot. I promise. You know what I'll look like if you back out? You know what I'll look like to the partners?
Yes, an ass.
Yeah, an ass all the way. You are a piece of work. Tonight.
What up, gang? It's Saturday, just like I promised. My alarm went off, and that was to tell me to turn the fan back on after the clip, because it's hot. So now the fan's back on. Oh, we gonna rock and roll tonight. I had a quasi date night with Ashley last night. I had a full-on date day with Ashley today, so I'm in a great mood. By the way, September 20th, Saturday, the year of our Lord 2025. So I had a great date day and a great date night. And I always knew, we're going to do a weekend stream. We're going to go over old Forrest Fenn interviews. So I assume we're going to have a smaller audience. But it's funny. Shiloh asked me about 2 weeks before Fenbury. And he said, and he hadn't checked in with me on Fenbury details in quite some time. And he goes, hey Ben, how many folks are you expecting at Fenbury? And I said, honestly, I've had a lot of cancellations lately. 15? And his response was, great. Not that 15 was too small or small enough, so great, or 15 was like, oh my God, so big, great. It was just great. Like I fully believe whatever number I would have told him in that text, his answer was going to be great. Whether it was 2 or 200. And I think we were in the 40s or 50, believers in the Forrest Fenn world 5 years after the treasure was found. To see 40 other people like you in one spot, incredible. So I understood what Shiloh meant by great, because you know what? If only 15 people were there the whole time, incredible. Incredible that there's more than just me and my wife into this. So intimate, smaller audiences are sometimes better. We can have a little bit more of a conversation tonight. We're going to go over interviews. We're going to go over old school shit. What are we missing? We're not going to go over these interviews like you normally would, trying to look for what's a clue, what's not a clue. Oh, he said this, and therefore the home of Brown is that. No, I mean, we can do that, and I will invite that this evening. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is let's assume that the status quo can't all be fake. Some of it might be. Some of it might be a lie or a cover-up or a conspiracy or whatever you want to call it. But let's assume some of it has to be true, just as a foundation that carries forward no matter what direction you look. So let's assume the treasure was found. Let's assume someone, whether it's you at home or someone you've never heard of or Jack Stoof, let's assume, or me, let's assume someone solved that poem. And by solving that poem, no matter how you or me or all of us saw the end go, that by solving the poem, the solver ended the chase. Something else came from that, whether it's an end, a beginning, something in between. When the solver solved the poem and physically grasped onto the chest, That was the end of the game. The question is, was that round one of a game? Was that game one and then there's game two? Was that the whole kit and caboodle? And that there's nothing else? What I want to dissect tonight by going through interviews together is there a slip up for what's to come? Have you at home gone through these interviews looking for something that indicates either no, hell no, nothing more is coming, or, ooh, I don't think he was talking about the treasure chest. I don't think he was talking about this or that. What else was he talking about? Ooh, I want to look for those moments. And we don't need a facial, algo, blah, 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 to do that. We can do that together. I've done it. I assume some of you guys have done it at home, but let's do it together tonight. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Different kind of stream. There's no news. There's if there's news to break, it'll be broke. I don't break news. But what I do is do my damnedest to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to stay in touch with what's going on. And if someone were to be along with me on every step of my journey, and Ashley is probably the only one closest who could be in that conversation, maybe a couple of others, you wouldn't understand. It'd be great anyway. I'm going on a tangent there. Anyway, I want to say hi to chat. Like I said, I think it'll be intimate tonight, and I'm gonna enjoy having chit chats with you guys. Nomadic in the house, love you, Nomadic. I gotta stop. I keep shaking the screen, the table, and then that like shakes the screen in front of me. Even though I'm not looking at the screen, I can see it wiggle and ugh. All right, let me get those books. I got my Secrets of San Lazaro out. I think we might be even referring to that tonight, depending on what we hear Forrest say in some of this stuff. Pirate obviously in the house, Trusted in the house, Zozo in the house. Forrest said some used his poem precisely for the solve. Not looking around 25 days. I mean, it's an interesting argument, right? Just off the surface. It's always been an interesting argument. The clues in my poem, I was going to try to do it in a funny way. Poem, I can't do it. I've yet to be able to do it right. The clues in his poem led that solver to the precise location. If you follow these clues precisely, they'll lead you to the end of his rainbow and the treasure. Precise has been used. I know kind of in the aftermath of the chase, if you were on the blogs, some tried to diminish the usage of the word precise. I found it quite interesting. It felt like an attack from like a specific point of view. It felt like trying to retcon or change definitions for everyone else listening, so that if they could just win the argument online, those of you reading at home would go, oh, well, that obviously must be the truth. It felt like there was an attack from a force online that really tried to diminish the idea that this poem wasn't precise. They would say certain things on the blogs, whether it's in Discord or on Thor or Reddit. Who said it would be precise? Who said that Forrest said every single clue leads to a precise step that you take, blah, blah, blah. And they would introduce all sorts of good logic, but it would convolute the whole thing. I watched it happen firsthand in front of me. I lurked this damn thing for half a decade, and then I participated and watched for years, 2020 up until today. And I saw this go down. I'm sure some of you guys at home saw this as well. There were people telling other people, No, not precise, not precise. It's just a poem. It's ambiguous. It could lead anywhere. Of course, we all thought those things. But also, it would never be precise. It would never lead you to an exact spot. No, of course, grid searching for 25 days is normal. Doi. That happened in our chase. The question is, where did that come from? I think, personally, that going back to Forrest Fenn interviews helps either confirm what those folks are saying or make them look like ignorant fools. And I don't even use ignorant as a pejorative. I use fool as a pejorative. That's because it's bothered me for so long. But I think by dissecting Forrest's words, which is exactly what they tried to do to us, they try to push Forrest quotes on us to say, no, you can't be right because of this. Well, if you're willing to have that conversation with me, let me show you 4 other quotes that say exactly the opposite of what you're saying. Because actually what you're saying is you're taking Forrest out of context here, while I'll provide full context for my 4 points. But because some of us do it as loudmouths, like myself, and others do it as studious folk, I do happen to think the lurkers online lean towards the studious folk. They see how they can conduct themselves in an argument or a debate, and they just go, well, that must be it. It's also the easier option. I'm going on a rant. It leads to Netflix being a bunch of fodder and bullshit, so I'll just skip to the end. And I think we should get into interviews. After I say hello to everyone. Your body language is giving off a sense of excitement for traveling on an unknown path, Ben. Street likes to think he's like super smart. I just wanted to say it like that, so Street would go, wait, hold on. What's this motherfucker about to say? No, I mean, Street, this whole chase is traveling down an unknown path. I'm sure you would agree. And I think you know that I know in my heart that there's more to this. And the fact you're still around, Street, tells me I think you know that there's more to this as well. Now, you also might have been saying that the whole time. Whether or not I heard you or whether or not I'm just bringing it up here in this moment, neither here nor there. I think the fact that you're still here as an overall point, I think that speaks to the fact that you think there's more to this. I don't think it. I know it, Ben. There you go. There you go. I've also been neglecting chat. So I saw Street, hi Street. Larry Sandell, an oldie but a goodie. AI says, in the context of a treasure hunt, Omega can refer to the final challenge or the ultimate prize that signifies the end of the hunt. We have 2 now. Of course, one of the 2 were removed, right? The revised edition of Once Upon a While with 1 Omega. And I believe Dizzy Dean? Yeah. Me and Dizzy Dean right at the very end. Like he said, I wanted to add more stories, so it was a new book. Someone literally asked him, why did you do a revised copy? I would suggest, and I hope it's in an interview that we watch tonight, but if it's not, I would suggest to go to that specific question. Someone asked Forrest, why did you do a revised version of Once Upon a While? And his answer is one of the biggest examples, or only example, of his malarkey, his baloney, his aw shucks attitude, where he gets into, it amounts to, I added a story in there, therefore it was a new book, so we did a new book. Like, yes, we know you added me and Dizzy Dean. We know that. We know you took away the Omega. We know that. But I don't think Forrest ever answered that all the way in that moment. I think he left out some of the truth. Tell the truth, but not all of the truth. Lucky, what's up? Forrest will always be my favorite poet, right? Are you talking to me, Green Thumb? May we be getting the final part of something, Omega? So I think I'm taking your stuff out of order here, but I think my point remains the same, does it not? You know what, Susie, if you really don't want to tell me, but I'm going to put on music in the background. I love having music in the background. But what I think I'll do is I'll try to get it really lower volume, more chill. Oh, and you know what I'm going to do? Not Spotify. Oh my goodness. What is this on? City Slickers. Well, we're also going to do the interviews, so, Yeah, I mean, it's just so good, though. At least while I'm talking to everyone. Joseph, what up, playa? Hello, Steve, even though you still have me blocked. Hello, ConCon941. I don't know who you are, but you're interesting. Curiosity in the house. Awesome. Yeah, Jason, what were we making a bet for? I'm out hanging around Ben's archaeological site. Are you? Lower the volume. All right. Are you really? You're not hanging out on my archaeological site. Which one? I assume you mean. I assume you mean New Mexico near Mimbres, but I had a few archaeological sites. Motherfucker. I hate getting so confused on a live stream. Gives away everything, but that's fine. Oh, god dang it. The god dang kids trying to do something. All right. Anyway. All right, how's the volume now? If I could get John Lovitz to go on a treasure hunt with me, that would be swell. I mean, there's only one option. Wow, some of you at home are like, what the hell has Ben doing? Music's fine. Love you, Susie. All right, so we're going to get into Forrest interviews tonight. Let me get off that. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Was there a single person who watched City Slickers 2 who was surprised by the idea that Curly had a twin brother named Duke? Like when you first watched, you were like, "Oh, that's not a twist," because I already knew that, right? See, this is why trailers sucked back then. They would give away the whole end, fucking twist and shit. Yeah. Anyway. All right, Forrest Fenn interview. Trying to figure out the fastest way to find it. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. Sorry, I'm just enjoying the music. My wife's taking... Okay, so by the way, I was trying to wake Ashley up. or see if she's woken up. We had a great date day, and she's asleep right now. Hopefully she'll wake up and join us, but we'll see how that goes. Ping me, Ben. I haven't service in the canyon. Well, then how are you talking to me right now? Hung my own candy bar on the sign. No one knows where my archaeological spot is. No one. Except for the people who were on the dig with me, but they don't talk. So, anyway, don't get me distracted like that. All right, let me remove that screen. We're doing old school tonight, guys. I love it. It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. All right, well
Oh my God.
oh my God, where's this music even coming from? Oh, it's on this other window. Okay. Good grief. Okay. Now tell me how the volume is. Remember, I do have permission from Toby. He gave it to me a while back, but we're fine.
Well, I always thought I deserved a throne. And I'm very glad to be here. I want to thank Jay and Carolyn and Dorothy for bringing me up here. And Jay asked me to say a few things about my treasure story. Is there anyone here that knows about the story?
Volume is good? All right.
Who in this room has not heard about my treasure story? Well, that's pretty good.
Can I go older?
In 1988,
Sure.
I had cancer and they told me I was going to die.
After this. That's a great
That's
way
a
to
good
start.
way to start off a talk. They gave me a 1 in 5 chance of living 3 years. And a lot of things were happening about that time. I was selling my gallery in Santa Fe, and I had a lot of clients that were coming to see me to do different things. And it just so happened that Ralph Lauren came to my house. He collects antique Indian things like I did. And he didn't know that I had cancer. But we were standing in my
Okay, so already, hold on. He didn't know I had cancer. Now, he tells us about a 1988 diagnosis, but there are conflicting reports on when this Ralph Lauren meeting happened. Is there not? Some say this happened in the mid-90s. Some say this happened in the late 80s. I'm not sure which one is accurate. But this moment where he says he didn't know I had cancer means it probably can't be mid-90s. Mid-90s is when Forrest goes into remission. Depends on our point of view from Forrest Fenn's point of view. If he's gone into remission, does he even still think he has cancer? Does he call himself a cancer survivor? Does he call himself someone who has quelled cancer? I mean, there's intricacies here into how we determine the timeline. I'm not saying we can determine the timeline from one interview versus another, but it's more evidence that there's still weirdness about the timelines here.
my library, and I had something that he wanted. It was a beautiful Sioux Indian bonnet with white ermines skins hanging on it and split antelope horns, and it was a wonderful thing, and he wanted to buy it. And I said, well, I don't want to sell it. And he said, well, you have so many of those things. He said, you can't take it with you. I said, well, then I'm not going. And we laughed and changed the subject. But that night I started thinking about that. Who says I can't take it with me? What do I have to live?
Oh, no. Who says I can't take it with me? I copy and pasted the wrong movie poster. Of all the times to do this, I copy and pasted the wrong damn poster. I hate myself. Who says you can't take it with you? Where are we at? 157?
I said, well, then I'm not going. and we laughed and changed the subject. But that night I started thinking about that. Who says I can't take it with me? What do I have to
Who says?
live by
Who says?
everybody else's rules? If I'm going to die of cancer, I'm going to take some stuff with me. And I made up my mind. So I bought this beautiful little treasure chest, 10 inches by 10 inches and 6 inches high. Wonderful Romanesque thing. An antique scholar told me that it was probably Romanesque, 11th or 12th century. Maybe it held a Bible or a book of days, but it was wonderful. Had a great patina on
it. Had a great patina on it. It already had a great patina on it. It already had a great patina on it. 11th or 12th century. We've gone over this. All he had to do, here, I'll use Ashley's secret diary that I don't open as an example. All he had to do was lift the chest in the air and go, oh, wow, it says made in France. In English. I'll do that again for you. Made in France in English.
And I started filling it up with things that I thought would be attractive. There are 265 gold coins, American, mostly eagles and double eagles. There are some Middle Eastern gold coins that date to the 13th century. There's a little bottle of gold dust in there, and there are hundreds and hundreds of gold nuggets, mostly from Alaska,
and
placer nuggets. Two of them are so large that they're the same size as a hen's egg. They weigh more than a pound apiece. And there, in this chest, I put hundreds of rubies. There are 2 beautiful Ceylon sapphires. There are 8 emeralds, lots of little diamonds, pre-Columbian wakas, 2,000-year-old bracelets, and a Tirona and sinew necklace that dates probably 2,500 years old. The fetishes on the necklace are made out of quartz crystal and cornelian and semi-precious stones. And I told myself I wanted it to be visual enough so that when a person found the treasure chest and opened it for the first time, they would just lean back and start laughing.
I'm going to rewind that.
Year-old bracelets and a Tirona and sinew necklace that dates probably 2,500 years old. The fetishes on the necklace are made out of quartz crystal and cornelian and semi-precious stones. And I told myself I wanted it to be visual enough so that when a person found the treasure chest and opened it for the first time, they would just lean back and start laughing. And I've showed the chest to a number of people in Santa Fe, and that's what they all did. So I invite you to go look for the treasure chest. And my plan was to, if I was going to die of cancer, they said I had a 1 in 5 chance of living 3 years. So that told me I had a year probably anyway. So I decided, I knew where I was going to hide the treasure chest. And I told myself with my last gasping breath, I was going to go out there and fling myself on top of that treasure chest.
Folks, he's going to fling himself onto that treasure chest. We all know what the alleged treasure chest site looks like. Do we not? He was going to fling himself on top of that. I hope he didn't or wouldn't hit his knee or his elbow or his forehead or his ear or his nose on top of that giant log hovering over a buried chest. He's going to fling himself over this spot with his last dying gasp.
Probably. Anyway, so I decided, I knew where I was going to hide the treasure chest. And I told myself with my last gasping breath, I was going to go out there and fling myself on top of that treasure chest and let my bones go back to the dirt. It was a great plan. The trouble with it was I got well.
I guess. I hope to gosh the blaze wasn't on that log, because with his last dying gasp, he'd probably break that log, wouldn't he? Therefore destroying said blaze, wouldn't he? Well, golly, that's a problem, isn't it?
And ruined the story. But I told myself, just because I got well didn't mean that I could not hide the treasure chest anyway. And I did that. And in my book, The Thrill of the Chase, there's a poem in there that has 9 clues in it. If you can.
With his last with his last dying gasp, he's also going to build this lean-to. Come on, Nomadic's just trying to be funny. That's what Nomadic does. I like Nomadic.
Follow the clues to the treasure chest. You can have the treasure chest.
Do you guys hear that?
And
there's like a background noise to this stream, and it drives me nuts. And I'm always thinking it's me. Now I'm knowing it's not me because I pause it and I don't hear it.
I thought about that a lot. And when I hid the treasure chest, I had to make 2 trips because the thing weighs 42 pounds. It's small, but its gold is heavy. And when I hid it and was walking back to my car, I started laughing out loud. And I said, Forrest Fenn, did you really do that? but I had a hole card. I told myself, if I decide later.
No. A hole card. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That is a good after the fact argument for a 9 Mile hole. I had a hole card. Now, you need to understand how he's using the terminology. You need to understand what hole card comes from as a poker player, as a gambler. You need to understand, in my opinion, what it is to be a gambler overall, not just a poker player, but a blackjack dealer, a craps dealer, a craps player. You need to understand how to be a gambler to understand hole card, in my opinion. Why are people adding me in chat? Oh, hello, Cake. Well, are people talking to me in my Mr. Robot channel? What the fuck's going on? Cake, I'm gonna. Cake's probably like, who the fuck are you talking about, or what are you talking about? In fact, she's probably not watching. Cake, I'm live. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then now is a good time for me to plug the Discord. So invite to server. Now you can always do discord.gg/findingfensgold, but you can follow along with that link too. Now I've forgotten what the fuck it is I was doing. I was scrolling back, and then I decided I shouldn't scroll back. Oh, I see. We need to get back to Forrest Fenn stuff. Okay, you see how the fucking screen just got fuzzy? The screen, fuzzy. Oh, there you are, Cake. Nope, sorry, Hammer. There you are, Cake. What up, playa? Cake used to be in my Mr. Robot world. Cake has seen me single-handedly. No, I'm kidding. I mean, sometimes single-handedly. Cake, can you tell the people, please, Cake, can you tell the people who I was in the Mr. Robot world? Now, one of your answers, Cake, should and should be, the Bean-Apple changes to Elliot changing the itinerary log of all the deliveries, which caused the 71 buildings to blow up. The name of that hack was me, and that caused thousands of people to lose their lives in the Mr. Robot world. Now, I'm not just that. Cake, tell the people. Oh, Moisturize is here. Awesome. And Mama Q. What up, Mama Q? This is the final chapter. I am traveling to the Lewis and Clark. What? I'm traveling the Lewis and Clark from Canada to Oregon, finding statues of semen. That's not. Stop it. Cake, they're going to believe you. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, let's get back to Forrest Fenn chatting, shall we? Oh, shit. Well, whatever.
I didn't want to do it. I could go back and get it. But the more I thought about it, the more I said, yeah, this is perfect. Why can't I influence somebody 1,000 years from now? 100 years from now? Okay, next weekend. If you can find it, I think it'll be worth your while. A lady reporter from Texas called me on the phone and she said, Mr. Fenn, who is your audience for this strange book? I said, my audience is every redneck in Texas with a pickup truck, a wife and 12 kids who lost his job. I said, throw a bedroll in your back of your truck and go look for the treasure and take the kids. Get the kids out of the game room, away from their little playing machines, and let them breathe the sunshine and the things.
Yeah, okay, but pirate. Go with me here. We've done this before, right? As a community, you guys, me, we've done this on the streams before. This interview, exactly. But to do it again in 2025, why not? Maybe we missed something. Maybe we didn't have something in the back of our head that we now have, but we didn't have 3 years ago. We have to reapproach some things in order to try to understand what it is we don't fucking still understand. I mean, I feel like I take crazy pills sometimes with that, but like, short of someone telling us what happened, our only shot is working together and reapproaching some of the same shit. It's vital.
That the forest has to offer a wonderful opportunity. And I just this last week passed 25,000 emails from people, and probably 15,000 of them have told me, Mr. Fenn, we're not going to find the chest. We know that, but I want to thank you for getting me and my kids off the couch and out into the truck. So,
and proud we are of all of them.
You know, I could go on and on, but I
Lebowski
don't
joke,
want to talk too much. I would entertain some questions if anybody has one. Yes, sir.
Did I understand that the proceeds from your book are going to the cancer?
You know, I'm having trouble hearing him. Can somebody help? What?
Did I understand that the proceeds of your book are going to a cancer foundation?
Well, let me explain that to you. Dorothy Massey at Collected Works Bookstore in Santa Fe owns these books. Jay bought them from Dorothy. The deal I made with Dorothy was that she can have the books, but she has to put 10% of the gross sale aside for a cancer fund. I think we have about $50,000 or something in that fund now. We're looking.
So he has, at this point in 2013, sold what, $500,000 worth of books, is what he's saying. We have what, 50,000, blah, blah, blah.
And we're looking for somebody that we can feel proud about helping. If I had my way, we'd find some little minority kid that can't afford what it takes to get well and spend our money that way. And I don't know whether that'll happen or not, but that's the plan anyway. Is there another question?
I have one about the poem.
Poem.
If you follow the poem precisely, will you find yourself switching back?
Switching back.
If you follow the clues in the poem precisely, would I what?
Will you find yourself switching back? Making a loop.
This gal's dangerous.
Let's stop there. Whether I did or not last time. This gal's dangerous. Now, Forrest has worked at least minimum 15 years on this poem, which means he's worked 15 years on this entire hunt, has he not? Once he's writing the poem, he's already determined where the hiding spot is, and he has determined that the hiding spot is in fact hidden from a normal person's perspective. So we're building off of a foundation of a treasure hunter. Whether or not he has the idea of how he's going to disguise this spot inside of a poem before he writes the poem, I don't know. But as he's edited and changed the poem over the course of 15 years, he has certainly invested 15 years into making this a puzzle. Even though he might not want to use the word puzzle, he might not want to say riddle, he does. Solve the riddle that's in my poem. That's a Forrest Fenn quote. Solve the riddle that's in my poem. So for him, after all the things I just said, for him to then tell this woman, that gal's dangerous, bear with me here, I almost wonder if he is lulling you into a false sense of comfort. He wants you to think what this woman said was important. Not because of something this woman said, but because of what she didn't say. Whatever she didn't say felt safe enough for Forrest this time to do a whole, ooh, you're dangerous. In my head, I think Forrest had it in his head that he'd tell 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 15 people they're dangerous over a course of time based upon something non-dangerous that they said. So I'm not saying the fact that Forrest says she's dangerous means there's no switchback. What I'm saying is something about her question made Forrest comfortable enough to make this joke that makes you at home think this woman was onto something. Let's rewind.
Spend our money that way. And I don't know whether that'll happen or not, but that's the plan anyway. Is there another question?
I have one about the point. If you follow the point precisely, will you find yourself switching back?
If you follow the clues in the poem precisely, would I what?
Will you find yourself switching back? Making a loop.
This gal's dangerous. You know? But I find myself switching back. I think I can say no to that without giving away too much of the clue.
Okay.
He thinks he can say no to that without giving away too much of the clues. He didn't just have that. The reason he asked her to repeat the question was so that he could buy himself more time in his head to figure out how to respond to this specific question. So the question itself seems like it could deem itself important, but maybe not on the surface level that we think. We might have to stay inside the box and dig deeper.
Nobody is going to happen on that treasure chest. You're going to have to figure out the clues in the poem and go to it.
Who am I? I'm talking to you guys, my treasure hunting friends. The only people on the planet who understand what it is I'm saying when I want to talk treasure hunting. If I want to talk treasure hunting to anyone other than Ashley, they look at me with this glazed face like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. That sounds good. Interesting. You should go do that. So why do you think I stream?
There are several people that have deciphered the first two clues. I don't think they knew it because they walked right on past the treasure chest.
Look how stoic he is in this moment, because they walked right on past the treasure chest. Now, did they not know that they solved the first two clues because they just couldn't be sure they didn't solve the first two clues? Or is Forrest saying, the reason I question how confident they are in solving the first two clues is because it didn't lead them all the way to the last clue, which would get them the treasure chest? The fact that they showed a path towards solving the first two clues, and then that path veered away from what the next clue was, tells me they didn't understand that they solved the first two clues. Because if they understood that they solved the first two clues, they would have solved the third clue. And if they would have solved the third, they would have solved the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the seventh, and the eighth, and maybe, just maybe, they'd have a problem with the final clue. I think Forrest was expecting a problem with the final clue. He just wasn't sure when conversations would get to that point. And he certainly didn't want to give an advantage, not an advantage, it doesn't seem like an advantage. He doesn't want to give someone that's on the first, or he doesn't want to give someone that's on the second clue a hint how to get to the third clue. Because the person first that's at clue 7 figured all of that out without Forrest giving a hint. And so to give a hint to someone behind that person would be not fair. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And I'm not going to tell those people who they are because one of them particularly would faint, I know, and she'd tear the countryside up trying to figure out where they had been. But it's an opportunity to doesn't have any downsides. I think everybody wins if you go out looking for it. Another question?
Given that you simply gave that way to the college, you gave it away. You gave this treasure away to the cosmos and to whomever. Did you have any heart wish of how the treasure might be used for good?
No.
Bless you.
And I don't feel like I've given it away. Who are?
Whoa. Haven't some of you people talked about this guy? I need a beer. I'm down. I need a beer. I'm playing some music. How did no one bring this up to me? How did I just scroll right past it? No. No. This is... I need a soundtrack. You guys. You guys. You guys. How do you guys not bring this up to me? This fucks with my head. What? This, everybody has talked about this Chris Jones person. And I'm just like, what do you want me to say? I don't know who this guy is. And now this guy is talking in my stream. It's just interesting to me.
Is as it seems.
All right, now I need to
God in the end.
I need to go get my beers. I'll be right back.
The shadows disguise, and I don't know why. Nothing is as it seems. Something got a hold of me, lying in a bed of things. What is reality? And then broken, left it wide open, everything's crashing down. Standing here frozen, truth is showing, and I know now nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. Everything's crashing down. Nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. Caught in the in-between.
Caught in the in-between. All right, let's get back to it.
Whoever finds it is going to earn it.
Oh,
And once they find it and have it in their possession, I'm out of the picture. They can do whatever they want to with it. You can't. I don't want to make rules for people after the fact. Yes, sir.
How would you know if it hasn't already been found?
okay. The guy who asked that question is the guy who I always thought sounded like Doug. I don't think it's Doug, but like it sounded like him. Hold on.
I'm out of the picture. They can do whatever they want to with it. You can't. I don't want to make rules for people after the fact. Yes, sir.
How would you know if it hasn't already been found?
I've been asked that question.
Whoever finds it is not-
I really don't want to answer the question because that would be an answer that I don't want to reveal, but I can tell you that no one has found the treasure. Yes, sir.
When do you think the treasure would be found? Do you think it's a 10-year, 100-year? When do you think it'll actually be discovered?
You know, why don't you ask me how deep is a hole?
Okay, how deep's the hole?
It's not predictable. But I know that I think this last summer there were I'm guessing, but I think there were 35,000 people out looking for the treasure chest.
Are you concerned that once it is discovered that your private spot will be exposed to so many people that it will no longer become special? Or
There's all kinds of case scenarios. If a person finds it and he doesn't want the IRS to know it, then maybe the spot will never be revealed. But in my opinion, the type of person that's going to find a treasure chest is the type of person that can't keep it quiet. But I'm not worried about that really. Yes, ma'am.
You said that it took you 2 trips to hide the treasure. Did you hide it 2 times, or did you carry it the second time?
I hid the whole thing in one spot, but it took me 2 trips to get to that spot with the weight of those of the treasure chest.
From the car to the spot.
Very special spot.
Someone is clarifying. I almost got enraptured in the interview and I didn't want to stop it. Someone is clarifying about doing the 2 trips, and he clarifies himself about how it's a very special spot.
Hide the treasure. Did you hide it 2 times, or did you carry it the second time?
I hid the whole thing in one spot, but it took me 2 trips to get to that spot with the weight of those of the treasure chest.
The weight of those.
Very special spot.
I talked over it, but whatever.
Could you tell us more about what's in your book? Like, it's not just the poem, but it's a memoir, right? So
It's a memoir. You know, I never did go to college. I never.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. We have proven that on this channel. In our Discord, we have shown the evidence. Forrest went to college. It's strange. I don't know why he says he doesn't, or he didn't go to college, but he did. Did he graduate? I don't think so, but he went.
I made D's, and I prayed for D's in high school, and nobody ever listened. I graduated because my father was a principal.
He was in the physics club. He was in the math club. He was on student council. I don't know, man. I don't know about you all at home. I don't know anyone who was in the physics club, the math club, and student council who also got F's. It's cute.
And so I never did read the great books. And I talk in my book about Hemingway and other.
But it's a great segue. It's a great segue to say I prayed for D's, which means I got F's. And so I never read the great books of literature in our country. I never read Hemingway. Who's Hemingway? Who? What is Gatsby? You know, like he gets to ask these non-nuanced questions, which are nuanced in the whole category. It's brilliant what he does.
The writers that are very internationally celebrated. And so I went down to a bookstore and I got a couple of those books and I started reading them. And I told myself, these things are no good. For whom the bell tolls.
These things are no good. J.D. Salinger is so bad. J.D. Salinger is so bad that Forrest takes the voice of Holden Caulfield and inserts it into The Thrill of the Chase. Now, sure, there are moments throughout The Thrill of the Chase where you don't hear the Holden Caulfield voice, but I would argue 75% of that book is in the voice of Holden Caulfield. If he thought J.D. Salinger was so bad, why would he invoke the voice of one of J.D. Salinger's most famous characters of all time?
I wrote about a third of that thing and threw it in the trash. And I started to wonder, why does there? I mean, you may think those are wonderful books. I'm a little bit weird. I have to admit that.
So am I,
But
Forrest.
then J.D. Salinger died. And everybody, Diane Sawyer's talking about how wonderful he was, that he wrote books and put them in a vault so nobody could see them. And I told myself, this is my kind of guy. So I went down and I bought Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. And I thought I was going to like that book because I'd never heard of the guy. And I said, everybody thinks the book's pretty good. He's nobody, so it must be a pretty good book. So I started reading it, and I read a little bit, and I put it down. I started thinking about it, and I read some more. And it took me about a day and a half to finish that book, and I wasn't ready for it to end when it was.
So he read Catcher in the Rye in a day and a half. Wasn't ready for it to end. Yeah, he hated it.
But I started telling myself, if this is a good book, if Catcher in the Rye is a good book, I can do that. It's nothing but a guy talking to himself, really is what it is. And I said, I can do that. And so I started writing my memoir, and I started remembering, and I would encourage all of you to write your memoir. You don't have to edit it. Send it to the Library of Congress. They love those things. Start with your earliest recollections like I did. I remember when my grandmother told me about when she was a kid in Fort Worth, watching the Comanche and Kiowa Indians run through their barnyard trying to catch chickens. I have two daughters that are in their 50s who don't know who Clark Gable was.
Okay, everyone on the planet who still watches my stream or is still in the Forrest Fenn chase, I assume all of you understand how important Clark Gable is to my and Alan's Ha 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 by D.B. Cooper connection solved to the thrill of the chase. Again, let me reiterate. We don't think Ha 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 by D.B. Cooper is in any way, shape, or form a way to solve the poem. We do, however, think Forrest had a hand in creating it, writing it. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm wasting my time on that. I don't know. But we all know who Holden Caulfield's brother was, right? D.B. Caulfield. DBC. Easy as 423.
So I wanted my kids, my family, my grandkids to know something about my family, something about me and my wife and what we've done and where we've been, and kind of a peek back into our lives. And so and at the same time, I was thinking about my treasure chest. How do I bring all of these things together? So it was 15 years from the time.
Hold on. We're gonna get into the math that Forrest does right here. Don't worry. But he was thinking about his treasure chest when he was thinking about what? The Clark Gable stuff? Let's go back.
What it is. And I said, I can do that. And so I started writing my memoir, and I started remembering, and I would encourage all of you to write your memoir. You don't have to edit it. Send it to the Library of Congress. They love those things. Start with your earliest recollections like I did. I remember when my grandmother told me about when she was a kid in Fort Worth, watching the Comanche and Kiowa Indians run through their barnyard trying to catch chickens. I have two daughters that are in their 50s who don't know who Clark Gable was. So I wanted my kids, my family, my grandkids to know something about my family, something about me and my wife and what we've done and where we've been, and kind of a peek back into our lives. And so and at the same time, I was thinking about my treasure chest. How do I bring all of these things together?
A peek back into our lives. A peek back into Forrest Fenn's life. And then combining it with his treasure. Do we not see what he's saying? He wants to offer a peek back into his life that's just as important as bringing it together with his treasure. His treasure and his life story are equal, and he's figuring out how to combine the two. And one of the stories he gives you at home for his life story is his daughters don't even know who Clark Gable was. Well, boy, oh boy, if Alan and I are right about our ha-ha-ha solve, the whole world will know who Clark Gable was. Because our ha-ha-ha solve at 9 Mile Bay is where Clark Gable filmed his final movie with Marilyn Monroe. Huh. Wow. That might be a good reason Forrest keeps bringing up the fact that his daughters don't know who Clark Gable is. Any other actor who filmed his final movie at our spot that we found at 9 Mile Bay wouldn't matter. It just so happens it's Clark Gable. And it just so happens that Forrest brings up Clark Gable. And that Clark Gable story he somehow needed to integrate with his treasure chest story.
So it was 15 years from the time that I got cancer until the time that I hid the treasure chest.
Okay, now let's get into the big stuff. Now let's get into the stuff that most of you at home watching this, whether live or after the fact, are really thinking about. That 15-year delineation. Got cancer, hid the treasure chest. He has said over and over and over again that he got cancer in 1988 and that he hid the treasure chest at some point when he was 79 or 80. And that's not 15 years, is it? That's 31 or 30 years or 32 years. Let's listen to it again.
Into our lives. And so and at the same time, I was thinking about my treasure chest. How do I bring all of these things together? So it was 15 years from the time that I got cancer until the time that I hid the treasure chest.
From the time that I got cancer to the time that I hid the treasure chest. Not the time that he was in remission from cancer, which would be, 1995, 1994, either 2009 or 2010. From the time he got cancer, 1988, 15 years to the time he hid the treasure chest, which would be 2003. What else happened in 2003, Ben? Well, wouldn't you know it, my book is missing. But I'll just give you the spoiler alert. Doug Preston wrote a book called The Codex. Doug Preston, a man who is intricately linked with Forrest Fenn, wrote the Codex in 2000, or at least it was published and released to the public in 2003. Precisely 15 years after Forrest got cancer. And in the Codex, it's about a man, an art dealer from Santa Fe, who takes it with him. But it's not about Forrest. Maxwell Broadbent is not Forrest Fenn. Maxwell Broadbent is a dickhead, according to Doug Preston. Maxwell Broadbent encompasses nothing of Forrest Fenn's qualities as a person, according to Doug Preston. But he is a billionaire who hides his children's inheritance with him in his own tomb and forces his children to find him if they want their inheritance. A Santa Fe art dealer. Now, Doug always said, mark my words, they're going to make that movie. I believe Doug. Mark his words, they're going to make that movie.
15 years. And
he fucking says it again. He fucking says it again. In case you're confused by the math, he reiterates.
I was thinking about my treasure chest. How do I bring all of these things together? So it was 15 years from the time that I got cancer until the time that I hid the treasure chest. 15 years. And the poem in my book is something that I changed over and over again. When you read the poem, it looks like just simple words there. But I guarantee you, I worked on that thing. I felt like an architect drawing that poem.
Those of you at home who would have you believe that Forrest Fenn's poem was a simple, duplicitous isn't the right word, a simple, regurgitated maelstrom of words that accounted to his favorite fishing hole. What you just watched Forrest Fenn say contradicts everything about the 9 Mile Hole solution as it stands in the status quo. It's disgusting. It's an insult to Forrest Fenn.
And the original verse, so it was 15 years from the time that I got cancer until the time that I hid the treasure chest. 15 years. And the poem in my book is something that I changed over and over again. When you read the poem, it looks like just simple words there. But I guarantee you, I worked on that thing. I felt like an architect drawing that poem. And the original version of the poem said, "Take the treasure chest, but leave my bones and go in peace," or something like that.
Or something like that. So I don't even know how serious to take Forrest in that moment. The Codex was made as a student film there was a 2011 Buffalo Movie Festival or something like that. Was that what it was a part of? I remember this. I have not seen it. I'd like to see whatever this was, but something tells me that's not the script that Doug Preston wrote. This sounds like maybe something students did in 2011 because they were aware of the 2003 Codex and then aware of Forrest Fenn's chase, and hell, made the same connections we're making, but did it back in 2011. So I would like to see that. I did meet Forrest. I think we determined it was the Buffalo Bar. A lot of us on Discord were looking at, what was around in 2009, because I was talking about it with everybody in 2022, 23, 24, 25. I could only describe the building itself, exiting the building, going out for like my first cigarette. My first cigarette was that night. And like on the side of the building, and it was like a brick wall building, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, we went through this whole thing, and I think we determined, I think it was called the Buffalo Bar. Yes, what is? Shit, I don't remember what I was talking about. So FF hit it in 2003, but then what? Published the book later, right? I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, what I'm getting to here is not that, okay, Forrest must have hidden something in 2003 and we've all been thrown for a loop, but I'm asking, maybe, have we been thrown for a loop? Maybe Forrest was adamant in telling the truth that the chest he hid in 2009 or 2010 is the chest that Jack Stu found, but that there was something else. But also, Ben, Shiloh said there is no second chest. So how do you make that all work, Ben? I don't know, and I don't care to try to prove. I don't know. I'm taking the information as I know it, regurgitating it to you guys as honestly as I can. I don't know how it all adds up. I don't fucking know. I know where there's smoke, there might be fire, and I'm trying to say, okay, there's smoke here, there's smoke there, there's smoke there, there's smoke here. Like, that's all I'm doing.
But then I got well and I ruined that story. But I believe very strongly in that. I started making bells out of bronze and little.
Before he gets into this, I was talking about this on Discord today. So Riper, do you think the whole chase was delayed from 03 to 10 because of the FBI investigation? I don't know. The raid is in June of 2009, right? So I don't know the details as well, like I would the chase. So regurgitation from memory is harder. If there were subpoenas or warrants or anything like that happened prior to 2009, I don't know. So I don't know if anything was delayed because of any FBI investigation. For all I know, Forrest didn't even know there was an FBI investigation until the moment he was raided in June of 2009. I just don't know. Quick update, Ben. Just ringing the bell on the Rude Strawberry Blonde. Who's the Strawberry Blonde? I don't know. The Codex movie was showed only one time at the Buffalo Cinema. Exactly 15 years from then is when it is being put on YouTube. So next year in 2026 then. Oh boy, something else to look forward to. Buffalo Barn West? No, Needle. In Silver City, New Mexico. Isn't it weird that there's a Buffalo Bar in Silver City, New Mexico in 2009, and there's a Buffalo Bar in West Yellowstone? I know. I thought the same thing. Oh, Mama Q says it. There you go. On July 10th. Wow, she is specific. Yes, July 10th, 2009. And the reason we were able to determine July 10th, 2009 is because I believe I remember going to that bar on a Friday, right before we were all about to pack up and go home. And that Friday before we went home, because I was home by like the 12th or 13th or 14th. So this was our last weekend. And so the weekend before that, Friday, was on the 10th of July.
Jars. In the jars, I put my autobiography in the jars and seal them up tight. And I've buried 8 of those things way out in the desert and in the mountains.
Now, see, this is tough. He's talking about bells and jars all at the same time. Listen again, because I cut it off.
But then I got well and I ruined that story. But I believe very strongly in that. I started making bells out of bronze and little jars. In the jars, I put my autobiography in the jars and seal them up tight. And I've buried 8 of those things way out in the desert and in the mountains. Nobody knows where. I couldn't even go back to them because I've hidden them so well.
Oh, well then, we should never go looking for those things. He's being an antagonist.
Who says I can't influence the future? Who says I can't take it with me? I don't believe in those things. Which is best? Laying on the ground on a treasure chest, your bones rotting in the sun, or laying in a hospital room with tubes down your throat and your nose and machines everywhere, people running out watching you all the time? Which would you rather have? That's my philosophy. But anyway, I'll admit I'm a maverick in that area. My father had pancreas cancer. They gave him 6 months to live. 18 months later, he was still fishing up in Yellowstone in those lakes and fast streams. But one night, about 10 o'clock at night, he said, called me on the phone. I was in Santa Fe and he was in Temple, Texas. He said, Forrest, I just want you to know that I'm getting ready to take 50 sleeping pills. And I said, Dad, I'll be there first thing in the morning. I had an airplane. He said, that's too late. And it was too late. But I respected him because he wanted to do things on his own terms. What's wrong with making your own rules about things? He could have gone in the hospital and withered away for another 3 weeks or a month. That's no way to live. And all of these thoughts manifest themselves in my treasure chest. The thrill of
all of these thoughts manifest themselves wanting to live with dignity, wanting to be in control of fate. You know, these are deeper concepts than just looking for a box of gold.
He could have gone in the hospital and withered away for another 3 weeks or a month. That's no way to live. And all of these thoughts manifest themselves in my treasure chest. The thrill of the chase. I keep going back to the thrill of the chase. And you can think I'm crazy if you want to, and a lot of people have said that, but it's something that I believe in.
You can think I'm crazy if you want to. Boy, oh boy, do people think I'm crazy in this fucking chase, don't they? The thrill of the chase, you mean like on, what was it, page 104 or something in Ha 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 by D.B. Cooper? I began to lose myself in the thrill of the chase.
And that treasure chest, I've said, is in a very special place to me. And if I get another disease, on my last dying gasp, I'm going to throw myself on top of that treasure chest. And I'm going to dare you to come find me. Bella, do you have a question?
Mr. Fenn, we actually have one that was sent to us. And since you were speaking about the poem, Dale Neitzel has asked if you would kindly read the poem. Of which I happen to have a copy of said poem.
Poem.
Damn Dale Neitzel's always getting me in trouble.
I'm just a messenger.
He thinks he's safe because he lives on a little island, Loomy Island, out of Seattle. I've got his number though. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt, and take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. If you've been wise and found a blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. But tarry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? The answers I already know. I've done it tired and now I'm weak. So hear me all and listen good. I may have to read this thing. So hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold. And I view that as a challenge. There are so many things in life that are wonderful, and there are so many things that are not wonderful. I think, and this world's in trouble. I don't need to tell you that. So I think we need to. My father used to tell me, grab every banana, and he told me that 100 times. Finally, he and I collected arrowheads together, and we were thinking about going out to a friend's farm that was newly plowed to look for arrowheads, but it was drizzling rain. I didn't much want to go, but my father did. So we were discussing. He said, grab every banana. I said, Father, you've been telling me that for years. I said, I don't know what you mean. You know what he said to me? He said, now that you asked the question, maybe you're old enough to know. Pretty profound, huh?
Fuck
he
yeah.
said, the banana tree doesn't go by, the train doesn't go by that banana tree but one time. He said, you should reach out and grab every banana on the way back. I thought that was pretty good. And let me tell you, I've grabbed a few bananas in my time. Grabbed a few lemons too. Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the poet Robert Service?
The what?
Poet Robert Service.
Like, this is your first true solver in one of these interviews. Like, he's bringing up this poet. Like, no offense, if you're listening to me right now, like, much respect for being in this chase for over a decade, but
no.
You give him a run for his money.
Well, thank you. Well, I like poetry, and
it was a good cover.
I can walk down the street and see something, and I quote poetry to myself. I did that coming up here today in the car with Dorothy Massey. It's a little. I'll read you a poem from Alice in Wonderland. How doth the little crocodile improve his shiny tail and pour the waters of the Nile on every shiny scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws, and welcome little fishes in with gently smiling jaws. I like that.
He's the one with gently smiling jaws. Can't you guys see that? He's the one with gently smiling jaws.
You may not know who Senator Al Simpson is, senator from Wyoming.
Yes,
retired.
we know who Al Simpson is.
He can quote the entire book from Alice in Wonderland. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to say anything about the accumulation of that treasure and why
Jay, your guys,
those specific things were dedicated to the chest.
That sounds like Doug too.
Must have been a big piece of your life in some way. Or is that too personal?
So he's wanted to know on the accumulation of what you put in the chest. Were they personal type items? How hard was it for you to put some of those items in there? How did you determine what you placed in the chest?
Thank you for asking that question, sir.
Because it was Doug.
I wanted that treasure chest to be part of me. I wanted, if I'm going to take it with me, I don't want it to be a bunch of abstract items. I put things in that treasure chest that are very dear to me. One of them, probably the cheapest thing in that treasure chest, is a wonderful little bracelet. Has 22 prehistoric turquoise beads in it.
This was the basis of my
The beads
song.
were found by Richard Wetherell the first day that he discovered Mesa Verde and climbed down into the ruin from the canyon top. He picked up those 22 little turquoise beads. In 1901, when Richard Wetherell was excavating Mesa Verde, there was an Indian working for him that made a bracelet out of those 22 little turquoise beads, disc beads. They called it a row bracelet. It was made about 1902 or so. And when Richard Wetherell sold it to Fred Harvey of the Harvey houses. And here's lady
You know, it's interesting. By saying it was made in 1902, I know that doesn't seem significant. However, for something to be considered archaeologically significant, if that's a proper term, it needs to be older than 100 years. Okay, so like for instance, if you were to find, let's pretend Coors Light was making beer since 1850, okay? If you were to find a bottle of Coors Light in 2003, and the Coors Light bottle was from 1902, that bottle is considered archaeologically significant because it's older than 100 years. It was 101 years old. Now, if you were to find a bottle of Coors Light from 1910 in 2003, it would not be considered archaeologically significant. What's a few years between friends? Of course, but according to the law, there's a difference. So I find it interesting that Forrest makes a signifier moment at 1902. You know, sometimes it's a pool game, sometimes it's a card game. Sure, it's from Fred Harvey. Sure, it's a Richard Weatherall road bracelet, but even Weatherall's name is spelled 2 different ways. There's lots of weirdness about this particular story, and I find it significant.
Years later, that whole Harvey.
Bill, yeah, antiques are 50 years old, but to be archaeologically significant needs to be 100 years old, as I'm sure you know.
The collection was given to the Herd Museum in Phoenix.
Phoenix!
But I won that bracelet in a pool game with Byron Harvey, who was
Byron Harvey, not Fred Harvey. There's Fred
That's
Harvey.
how I got that bracelet. So I have an association. It's the only bracelet, Indian bracelet I ever had that fit me. I used to walk down it.
It's the only Indian bracelet that's ever fit him. How many Indian bracelets have you worn, Forrest, on your wrist? It's the only Indian bracelet that's fit me. I have to guess that Forrest, at this point in time, had worn 2 ever. There's too much significance put on this, in the sense of like to ignore it would be detrimental.
The street showing off that bracelet worth about $350, but it, you know, it's special to me.
Have your grandkids ever tried looking for the treasure?
Yes, Shiloh, have you?
Grandkids ever tried looking for the treasure?
No, but I'll tell you an interesting story. Some of the emails I get from people, I got one last week from a lady about your age. You must be 11? 9.
Close enough.
She said, Mr. Fenn, if I find a treasure chest, do I have to share it with my brother?
Okay. I don't want to take away from Forrest. He's so good at controlling the room. He is so good at just like making everyone laugh. But also, a bullshitter knows a bullshitter. I don't know how else to put it. I'm either so off base with Forrest or I'm so spot on with Forrest. And I'm not saying Forrest was a bullshitter. I am saying Forrest was a bullshitter, but not in the way you at home are thinking. But I know what he's doing by making this room laugh in this moment with this child. I know what he's doing.
Have your grandkids ever tried looking for the treasure?
She said, have your grandkids ever tried looking for the treasure?
No, but I'll tell you an interesting story. Some of the emails I get from people, I got one last week from a lady about your age. You must be 11? 9. She said, Mr. Fenn, if I find a treasure chest, do I have to share it with my brother? So I get all kinds of emails. This one lady said, my truck is not very reliable. She said, if I go in the mountains on the way to your treasure chest and my truck breaks down, will you come and pick me up and take me the rest of the way to the treasure? So I don't know.
Do you think kids will ever find the treasure? Do you think kids have a shot at trying to find the treasure?
Do you think the kids will ever find the treasure?
Do I think that kids, you worry me a little. Yeah, I think kids may have an advantage. Don't expect me to explain that, but sure, their eyes are better, they're more agile, they have more energy. Why should a kid take back seat in the treasure hunt?
I don't know that I'd buy that.
Sure is.
She's dangerous.
I mean, there it is again. She's dangerous. He does it twice. He does it with an adult-age woman. He does it again with a child. Something is going on with that dangerous thing that doesn't meet the eye, so to speak.
Okay, more questions? Yes, sir.
You put a lot of people on a very bold, exciting adventure. And at the same time, you put yourself on an adventure of watching all of these people. How are you enjoying that?
He said that you put a lot of people on a bold and exciting adventure, and yourself. And how are you enjoying watching all of this adventure around you?
Oh, tell me not in mournful numbers. Life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are never what they seem. I'm enjoying it, yeah.
Exciting adventure, and yourself. And how are you enjoying watching all of this adventure around you?
Oh, tell me not in mournful numbers. Life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are never what they seem. I'm enjoying it, yeah.
Watching all of this adventure around you.
Oh, tell me not in mournful numbers. Life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are never what they seem. I'm enjoying it, yeah. I didn't expect it. You know, I always figured that the treasure chest was a bomb, but I didn't know that I had a fuse until Dorothy came along, and a couple other people had started giving publicity to the book, and now it's out. No matter what happens now, it belongs to the ages, I think. And sure,
a bomb without a fuse. You mean like in Ha 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 by D.B. Cooper, where D.B. Cooper explains that he shows a fake bomb missing a fuse on the hijacking of Flight 305? Huh.
There's people talk about, Mr. Fenn, is that your legacy? Well, you know, I don't like that. I don't like the philosophy of that. I don't like the word. Once a person dies, that should be the end of it. If you want to say something kind about me, say it to me while I'm alive. Don't wait till I die. And let's don't talk about legacies.
We talked about this last week, didn't we? This is where we get into the conundrum of legacy and Forrest Fenn. No, he doesn't care. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. And he gets into that right here. You know, if you have something nice to say about him, say it now. I totally get that. But also at the same time, I can get a part of him that says, all right, y'all had me wrong. You want to talk shit about me now? Fine. Wait until you see what happens in the future.
Yes, sir.
So when you had cancer, and you got well, and you decided to hide the treasure, do you think maybe fate, maybe you got well so you would hide the treasure?
I believe that there's a higher hand someplace. I don't know what it is, but I think that I've lived a charmed life. Here's a a little kid from a small town in Texas, made D's and F's in high school. Joined the Air Force as a private, became a fighter pilot. When I was 27 years old and a fighter pilot in Germany.
Okay, so I didn't want to say this, but I'll say it. For those of you who are trying to figure out Forrest Fenn slip-ups or slurs, or not slurs, but issues, this is how he combines two words.
When I was 27 years old and a fighter pilot in Germany, I went down to supply and checked out an atomic bomb. Here's a little kid from a small town in Texas, made D's and F's in high school. Joined the Air Force as a pilot.
As a pilot, he's thinking pilot, he's thinking private. That's how he combines the two words. You can do this in previous moments and figure out what he's trying to say.
As a private, became a fighter pilot. When I was 27 years old and a fighter pilot in Germany, I went down to supply and checked out an atomic bomb. I signed a form. I owned that atomic bomb, 61 kiloton bomb. The bomb at Hiroshima was 17,000 tons. This was 61,000 tons. And I thought that, if I can do that from my background, then look at what other people can do from their background. I had a hard.
He's being so shy, bashful. Pick your word. If I can check out a 61 kiloton atomic bomb, well, then surely you can solve the 9 clues in my poem, right? I mean, isn't that the basis of all of this? If he can check out a 61,000 pound atomic bomb, surely you can figure out where warm waters halt.
Tour in Vietnam, I flew 328 combat missions in about 348 days. I was shot down twice. I took battle damage a few times. I lost some roommates. I lost 22 pounds and didn't even know it. And when I came home, I was tired. I was tired mentally. I was tired physically. And I wrote
And Forrest knows damn well in 2013, when he uses the word tired, he knows all of us at home are thinking about his poem. I've done it tired, and now I'm weak. So he is using the word tired with his tour in Vietnam. Interesting.
Story that's in my memoirs called My War for Me. If you don't do anything else, read that story. I think it's 7,500 words, but I'm very proud of that story. It tells, and in my new book, Too Far to Walk, do we have a copy of that? I tell another story that's an aberration to my My War for Me story.
Which is interesting because, of course, he says a couple of aberrations with the thrill of the chase. A couple of hints, a couple of good hints, and a couple of aberrations, which add up to what the book says, which is there are more clues sprinkled in the stories. So the fact that he brings up aberrations in this moment should also be just as interesting to you.
And I'll tell you briefly about that. I was laying in the wet jungle in Laos. I just jumped out. My wife got a telegram saying that I had been shot down and no parachutes had been seen. And so I'm laying there trying to decide what to do. I had a radio. If I called the rescue people, they would probably come get me and I'd go home. But it was Laos in those days, 1968, was a pretty wild country. What if the helicopter comes in to get me and it's shot down and 2 or 3 guys are killed? Now where am I? I haven't been rescued and 4 guys have been killed. Those things were preying on my mind. But I was I was 38 years old. I was a perfect human physical specimen. I had graduated from the jungle survival school in the Philippines. The jungle was never hot. It was never cold. Fast running water, drinkable water was everywhere. I had 2 guns. I had a knife. And under every log in the jungle is nourishing food if you're willing to eat it.
Under every log. And we all know the quote where he says, look under every log. Okay. All right. We're halfway through this interview. Everyone take a breath. Everyone take a breath. Whew. Hard to listen to interviews with Forrest now that he's no longer with us. Hard to listen to interviews with Forrest where we're not trying to perfectly dissect the poem, but we're trying to dissect the man. So, again, for those of you live, but for most importantly, those of you who join us later, let's take a breath. I'm going to go hit the home of Brown, but I'm going to go number 1. I'm going to grab a couple of more beers. I might even take a Tootski. I suggest you all do the same. We're going to take an intermission here, halfway through. And, that's how we're going to do it. Let me get some background music to play. Because, I got to do this right. You know what I mean? I got to do this right. Of course, I don't know how to do this. Oh, my God. All right, I'll type in soundtrack. My God. You know what? Fuck it. Like, Jesus. Oh, there we go. All right. Let me find a good couple of songs back to back. It's going to be like a 5-minute break. But let me do this the right way. Where's Wading on the Water, man? God damn. This isn't what we'll take a break with, but I gotta like waiting on the water.
Bass. Vision, dreams of passion. And all the while I think of you. A very strange reaction. The more I see, the more I do. Baby. Ticket to ride, white line highway. Tell all your friends they can go my way. Pay your toll, sell your soul. Pound for pound, cost more than gold. The longer you stay, the more you pay. My white line go a long way, either up your nose or through your vein. With nothing to gain except killing your brain.
We'll see if that works.
Higher, baby. Get higher, baby.
Maybe I'll get Ashley in. Can we get Ashley involved? Let's do that. Let me go get Ashley.
Pure need some one-on-one, baby.
Don't let it blow your mind away.
Baby.
Go to your little hideaway, 'cause white lies blow away.
A million magic crystals painted pure and white. A multi-million dollars almost overnight. Twice as sweet as sugar, twice as bitter as salt. And if you get hooked, baby, it's nobody else's fault, so don't do it. Higher, baby. Get higher, baby. Get higher, baby. And don't ever come down.
Don't you get too high.
Don't you get too high, baby.
Turn you on.
You really turn me on and on.
'Cause you gotta calm down.
My temperature is rising.
It's gone.
No, I don't want you to go. A street kid gets arrested. Gonna do some time. He got out 3 years from now just to commit more crime. A businessman is caught with 24 kilos. He's out on bail and out of jail, and that's the way it goes.
K. Sugar. K.
Athletes rejected, governors corrected. Gangsters, thugs, and smugglers are thoroughly respected. The money gets divided, the women get excited. Now I'm broke and it's no joke, it's hard as hell to fight it, don't buy it.
Freeze. Rock. Freeze. Rock. Freeze. Rock. Freeze. Rock. Freeze. Rock. Freeze.
No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God when they're starving or freezing or so very poor. No one laughs at God when a doctor calls after some routine tests. No one's laughing at God when it's gotten real late and their kid's not back from that party yet. No one laughs at God when their airplane starts to run control of their shape. No one's laughing at God when they see the one they love hand in hand with someone else and they hope they're mistaken. No one laughs at God when the cops knock on their door and they say, "But got some bad news, sir." No one's laughing at God when there's a famine, fire, or flood. But God could be funny at a cocktail party while listening to a good goddamn joke. Or when the crazy say he hates us and they get so red in their head you think they're about to choke. God could be funny when told to give you money if you just pray the right way. And when presented like a genie with his magic like Houdini, or cards just like Jiminy Cricket and Santa Claus. God can be so hilarious, ha ha. Ha ha. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one's laughing at God when they've lost all they got and they don't know what for. No one laughs at God on a day they realize that the last sight they'll ever see is a pair of hateful eyes. No one's laughing at God when they're saying their goodbyes. God could be funny at a cocktail party while listening to a good goddamn joke. Or when the crazy say he hates us and they get so red in their head you think they're about to choke. God could be funny, but don't give you money if you just spread it right way. And when presented like a genie with his magic like Houdini, or cards just like Jiminy Cricket and Santa Claus, God would be so hilarious. No No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one laughs at God in a hospital. No one laughs at God in a war. No one laughing at God in a hospital. No one's laughing at God in the war. No one's laughing at God when he's starving or freezing or so very poor. No one's laughing at God. No one's laughing at God. No one's laughing at God. We're all laughing with God.
I had to pull my shorts up. All right. Now I'm digging the fucking tunes. Fat Albert, Mama Q. You gotta watch The Leftovers, playa. Copyright strike, right? Here's the thing, man. We're not monetized, baby. I don't care what the viewer number is. I don't care what the likes are. I don't care anything. Cheers to not having to worry about being copyright striked.
Take a look all
Maybe request an SCD. Oh, I guess we could do that. Let me see what I can do here.
I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking.
Let me see what I can do here.
I know they don't sound good. If you wait around, I'll make
That's just that's all just showing up on the stream. Well, whatever.
I promise you I will.
I'll be the last one standing, 2 hands in the air, I'm a champion. You'll be looking up at me when it's over. I live for the battle, I'm a soldier. Yeah, I'm a fighter like Rocky. Put your flag on your back like Ali. Yeah, I'm the greatest, I'm stronger. Bet my dues, can't lose, I'm a own ya. Hey, I've been working my whole life, and now it's do or die. I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna nominate, you can't
Blame Mama Q for this. You can hear the music, right?
I was made for this, yeah, I was born to win. I am the champion. When they write my story, they're gonna say that I did it for the glory. But don't think that I did it for the fame, yeah. I did it for the love of the game, yeah. And this is my chance I'm taking. All them old records I'm breaking. All you people watching on the TV, you go ahead and put your bets on me. Yeah, I've been waiting my whole life to see my name in life. I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna nominate, you can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this, yeah, I was born to win. I am the
The C is for the courage I possess through the drama. H is for the hurt, but it's all for the honor. A is for my attitude, working through the patience. Money comes and goes, so the M is for motivation. Gotta stay consistent, the P is to persevere. The I is for integrity, innovative career. The O is optimistic, open and never shut. And the N is necessary, cause I'm never giving up. See, they ask me how I did it, I just did it from the heart. Crushing the competition, been doing it from the start. They say that every champion is all about his principles. Carry.
I am invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. They knock me down, I get up again. I am the champion. You're gonna nominate, you can't hurt me now. I can't feel the pain. I was made for this,
it's made of.
Oh, I thought there was another yow. There it was.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith. I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure the pilot washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for a change. Killed the Tsar and his ministers, Anastasia screamed in vain. I rode a tank, held a generous rank when the blitzkrieg raged and the finest thing. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. Oh yeah. I was buzzing you with the nature of my game. Oh yeah. I watch the glee while you kings and queens walk for 10 decades for the God they made. I shouted out, who killed the Kennedys? When after all, it was you and me. Let me please introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I lay traps for troubadours who get killed before they reach Bombay. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. Oh yeah. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my name. Oh yeah. Get down, baby. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. Oh yeah. But what's confusing you is just the nature of my game. Yeah. Just as every cop is a criminal, and all the sinners saints. This head is tail, just call me Lucifer, 'cause I'm in need of some restraint. So if you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and some taste. These are all you well-learned politics, or I'll lay your soul to waste. Yeah. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. Yeah. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Mean it. Get down. Ah, yeah. Get on down. Oh, yeah.
figured that I could walk to the South China Sea in a month or 6 weeks. So the question is, am I going to take the challenge that will never again in a million years be offered to me? Or do I remember my wife and 2 kids at home? So what do? I decided it wasn't fair. Every log in the jungle is nourishing food if you're willing to eat it.
If you're willing to eat it.
And I was. I figured that I could walk to the South China Sea in a month or 6 weeks. So the question is, am I going to take the challenge that will never again in a million years be offered to me? Or do I remember my wife and 2 kids at home? So what do? I decided it wasn't fair to my family. So I used my radio the next morning and they came and got me and nobody was killed taking me out. And one of the things that in my life that I think I've been not gifted, of course, but I hate to use the word luck, but I believe there's a higher hand yet. You know, tomorrow I'll get run over by a train, but
a 1 in a million.
I believe in karma and some of those things. I'm not a religious person, but I'm probably the most spiritual person around. That's the way I define it. I hate to get on my soapbox with people, but yes, sir.
I'd like to know more about your new book.
My new book, Too Far to Walk. In my preface, I explained where I got the title of the book. And Dal Nitzel, who put me on the spot a while ago, 3 days before we went to the press, I own my own little publishing company. It's called the One Horse Land and Cattle Company. 2 days or 3 days before we went to the printer, I didn't have a dust jacket. So I sent Dal Nitzel an email and said, go to the Madison River in Yellowstone Park in this very special place that I'm going to tell you about and take a photograph of the water. Stand on the bank, put the flowers in the photograph, and send me the photograph. He did that and sent me the photograph. My designer here in Santa Fe put the shadow across it. And 2 days before we went to the printer, I was still writing this book. When a writer sends a manuscript to a publisher, 2 years later, they're thinking about going to the printer. We did this in 2 days. And it's a byproduct of having your own people working for you. And the people that designed this book and helped me are wonderful. Same people that did that book for me. Yeah. You can't thank, some people you can never thank enough.
Forrest, we've got a question from your online fan base that we've got addressed to.
Who is it?
This one's anonymous.
Who is it? Okay. Well, I'm in trouble now.
Was the car you walked back to after hiding the treasure rented?
Was it rented?
Was it rented?
You know, that's the first time I've been asked that question, but I can't tell you how many times I've thought about that.
So people are trying to tell me that Forrest didn't think his ending through, but he can't tell you how many times he's thought about folks wondering if they could maybe possibly look up his rental car records. I don't care if there's only 3 of us left at the end of this. I don't give a shit. A man who thought about his rental car records also thought about the ending of his chase.
That's why I've told people that I buried that I hid the treasure chest when I was either 79 or 80 years old, because I don't want the exact date to be known, because I'm afraid somebody will go check the rental car records and how many miles did Mr. Fenn put on the truck or the car. And so I don't answer those kind of questions. But
it's weird because here's a guy. That guy beat me. I met Forrest July 10th, 2009. And according to him, he already hid his treasure. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you what I know.
Shoot that person that sent that email.
I have a question.
Yeah.
But how was he 79 or 80 in 2003? And Riper, yeah, you're getting to the issue here. He, earlier in this stream, we deduced, and correctly, I think, deduced he hid the chest 15 years after he got cancer, which was in 88, which would seem to point to 2003. Yet he's saying how he was 79 or 80 when he hid this treasure chest. Oh boy. Oh boy. Aren't there issues? Netflix didn't want to touch that though. God forbid they have to explain how a chest that Justin Posey bought says made in France in English. God forbid they have to explain that. Instead, they use some weird asshole's fake chest replica thing in that documentary from Chris Jones. Sounds like a fake name. Douchebag, butthead, idiot, moron, microphone abuser. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's nonsense. Can't you see it? Not you, Riper, but can't you guys see it at home? Fuck.
Back to the thrill of the chase. Outside of the poem,
Poem.
approximately how many hints or clues are in the book? Would you say 10 to 20, 20 to 30?
How many clues?
How many hints?
There are 9 clues in the poem, but if you read the book, there are a couple. There are a couple of good hints, and then there are a couple of aberrations that live out on the edge.
Aberrations.
Yes, ma'am.
You say there's
Street. I think Forrest is on record saying he was still editing his book right up until the last few weeks before it was published. I don't think his book was finished in 2003. I know the Codex was published and shown to the world in 2003.
There's 9 clues in the poem. The poem has more than 9 lines. Can you share with us which are exactly the lines or the clues?
Which of the 24 lines were clues?
Yes.
Little girl, I already know you. I mean, you've been out looking for the treasure,
I'm
and
trying to help everybody else.
she already knows what the clues are. No, I don't want to do that. She's scary too. Have I talked enough?
No.
There's another question.
Give us more, Forrest.
But I just want to mention, since you're so interested in information, that the gentleman that emailed you from Lummi Island.
Dell.
Lummi Island is on the far side of a reservation that's called Lummi Reservation. So he has to go through the reservation every time he goes home to catch the ferry to go out to his island. Just an interesting fact I thought you might be interested in.
You know, Dal, I didn't know Dal until after I'd written my book. And he came to Santa Fe because he wanted to talk to me about the book and the poem. And I didn't know the guy, so I didn't want to meet him at my home, but I met him at the Collected Works bookstore in Santa Fe. And he introduced himself to me with a fictitious name. And he had some ulterior motives related to that. But after...
Mike from Michigan, I believe, is what Dale called himself to Forrest. And he had some ulterior motives. Interesting.
A few minutes of conversation, I learned that his name was Dal Neitzel and that he had worked with my nephew, Creighton Fenn, who was a professional deep sea diver. He found the Agamemnon, Lord Nelson's flagship, and brought a cannon up off the... He has a website that's wonderful, has wonderful pictures. I don't know what the website is, but Dal Neitzel was working with my nephew when they found, I think, 79 17th century sunken Spanish galleons off of Uruguay. Medal Nitzel, his water runs deep. And he's a really neat guy too. And he runs a blog. I think he controls that whole blog. It's very interesting. I read his blog so I can learn a lot about myself. Your friend isn't laughing.
Coming from the online site again, I've been asked to ask you, how many people have told you they've discovered the unintended clue in Too Far to Walk, and how many were right?
Well, I have not anybody tell me the answer to that clue.
Okay.
If you read my preface,
he's not had anyone tell him the answer to the unintended clue in Too Far to Walk at the time of this moment in November 2nd, 2013. Yet people have still solved the first two clues but didn't know it.
Doesn't take a genius to figure out, I think, what they're talking about, but there are clues in my new book that can help a person. Did I answer that question? Did it have two parts?
Yes. No, that was it. Okay. That was it. Now, here's a really obscure one. Is it possible to locate the treasure chest without ever leaving your computer and Google Earth?
No.
No.
It isn't.
Absolutely not.
Did I really say that?
It's a hint.
And I believe it got caught on tape. So.
That's a hint.
There's not a picture of the treasure chest on Google Earth.
Okay.
Was that your question?
Yeah. I think that will suffice.
I think that can be dissected today in the year of our Lord 2025. There is not a picture of the treasure chest on Google Earth. Okay. So you can get really down close, but you can't see the chest itself. So if you've had a solve at home where you think you see a box, a rectangular, it's an angle 90 degrees, oh my God, that can't be natural. That's not the chest. If you thought that was a chest, it's not. Can't see it.
Because Google Earth doesn't go down far enough.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the children's book that you have planned.
The children's book that I have planned.
Does that become Educating Artie?
Well, there's a lady contacted me. She's written several children's books, and she read both of my books, and she said, I want you to write a children's book with me. Because for some reason she thought I was a child, I guess, the way I write my books. But I said okay, and we're thinking about.
Well, Mama Q said submit. I submitted no questions.
About that, I mean, I would like to do that. Sometimes I'm not a natural writer. I struggle when I write. I think my prose looks easy, but sometimes I said just today, sometimes when I get to the end of a sentence, trying to write the end of a sentence, I forgot what the front part of the sentence was. So I may be running out of words. I have 3 books in my computer that I'm really proud of. I would like to finish one. The main one is a book called Closet Stories of Taos. It's about the artist and the characters, but it isn't an art book. It's a gossip book. It's about Long John Donne.
Gossip books, closet stories. We have shown you on this channel where we saw Ha 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 by D.B. Cooper inside of Forrest's closet. Is that a gossip story? Is it not even accurate?
Wasn't his name at all. His name was Vigil. He killed 2 people in Texas, both of them justifiable, but the court didn't think so. They convicted him of first-degree murder and gave him life in prison. And the Sabine River down in South Texas overflowed, and they let all the prisoners out to stack sandbags on protect the house. And John Donne jumped in the river and floated on a log, and far from the reach of the Texas Rangers, he said. And it's a wonderful story about John Donne, but it's about Horace McHorse, who owned the first car dealership in Taos, and Teresita Ferguson. And there's a great story. I don't know whether I could tell this story in this mixed company, but I will. There were two guys down on the plaza walking around one Sunday afternoon, and they were accosted by two women who wore hoods over their faces. They wanted these two men to go over to the La Fonda Hotel with them because they had a room over there. And these two guys didn't want to do it. I'm not going to mention their names, but in my book I do. And the two women turned to walk away, and one of the men lifted the hoods of these two women. One of them was Teresita Ferguson, and the other was Georgia O'Keeffe. So my book is really a gossip book. It's stories about Doc Martin and the artist. Great stories about Gaspar
Ashley has some
and
Doc
Syrup
Martins.
and Caus and Victor Higgins and some of the others.
Questions? Okay,
Asking
then
Ashley
I
if
will
she'll
ask
join
another
us.
from the online world.
Will you quit going back to the computer?
Will you quit going
Okay,
back to
this
this
will be the last
computer?
one. Other than the one you've mentioned, are there any other hints in Too Far to Walk that would help solve the 9 clues?
Well, there's a major clue in the book, but I don't think it will help you find a treasure chest. I'll tell you what the clue is. In the back of my book, there's a map. And I've said that the treasure chest is hidden in the Rocky Mountains. Here's a treasure chest of the Rocky Mountains. So this, if you know what.
Here's a treasure chest of the Rocky Mountains.
Where the treasure chest is hidden, you could find it on this map. But the map stops at Canada. The Rockies keep going up there, but I said that it's in the Rocky Mountains, which would include Canada. When this book was printed, I didn't realize that that benchmark maps that made this map stopped at the Canadian border. So that's a clue, but I don't think it's not going to help you much.
But that's not the clue.
What'd she say?
She said that's not the clue.
There are no clues in this book, but there are some hints.
There are no clues in this book, but there are some hints. I mean, we did this last time. Where the hell is it? I don't know where it is. He says there are other clues sprinkled in the stories of the thrill of the chase. So of course there are not clues in Too Far to Walk.
What I tell people to do, if you're really serious about looking for the treasure, get the thrill of the chase and read it. And then go back and read the poem over and over and over again. And then go back and read the book again, but slowly, looking at every little abstract thing that might catch up in your brain. That might be a hint to help you with the clues.
Oh my God. We all need to hear it again.
There are no clues in this book, but there are some hints. What I tell people to do, if you're really serious about looking for the treasure, get the thrill of the chase and read it. And then go back and read the poem over and over and over again. And then go back and read the book again, but slowly, looking at every little abstract thing that might catch up in your brain. That might be a hint to help you with the clues. Any part of some is no better than no part of any. I don't think that'll help you much, but
If someone does find the treasure and they reveal themselves that they have found it.
if somebody finds a treasure, what?
Somebody does find the treasure and spoils your plans to cast your bones upon the chest. Will you find a new location and do it again?
How do you answer a guy to ask a question like that? I don't think so. I mean, I've had my run. I mean, I just, you know, a lot of things you can't plan. You know, making plans is antagonistic to freedom. I used to tell a story in my 2 to Walk book about in Santa Fe, I had a Piper Malibu Mirage. It carried lots of fuel. It had a 43-foot wingspan. And I could go out there all by myself, push the hangar doors open because I didn't want anybody to help me. Crank that airplane up, get permission from the tower to take off, and head north and then turn my radios off. I had no idea where I was going to land, what I was going to see. I didn't even care. I had 600 or 700 miles before I had to think about that. But I had GPS and I had maps. I'd find a little town up in Wyoming or Idaho or someplace in Montana and look on my map, see if they had a rental car or an airport. If they did, I'd land and rent a car and go out and sit by the lake or the river. I did that. I tell a story about that in, I think it's Lander, Wyoming. The little Popo Aggie River runs through Lander. How can you not stop where the little Popo Aggie River runs?
I'm not an expert, but it's not the Popo Aggie, right? We all know that. We've been through this. It's the Popoji. But why is Forrest talking about escaping? Why is Forrest talking about a plane going north and then turning off its radar and changing course and escaping? I mean, it's weird. It almost sounds like a story I've heard before, but you know, I don't want to dare go there.
To a town.
My best friend who passed away here a couple of months ago, she lived in Lander.
She lived in Lander?
Yeah.
I've been to Lander a few times. It's a typical little town. I mean, you have to love Lander. I mean, that's grassroots America. As a matter of fact, I have a granddaughter that's in pre-med at Texas Tech University, and I told her that I would pay for all of her college to get a medical degree if she would promise me that when she graduated and got her license, that she would go to a little town like Lander, set up a shingle and make house calls. And she has to do that for 2 years. She promised me that she would do that. So that's where I am with this whole thing. Yes, sir.
That's her.
Did you have 9 clues before you wrote the poem, or did 9 clues appear after you wrote the poem?
They're contiguous. I knew where I wanted to hide the treasure chest, so it was easy for me to put one foot down and then step on it to get to the next foot. That's what I did. But I changed it over, I don't know how many times, but
you know, when you land from skydiving, I've never gone skydiving. I'm not an expert, but when you're landing, you put 1 foot down and then you step on it.
I looked up the meaning of words. You know, we really don't know what some of our words mean. For instance, what does the word several mean? S-E-V?
Several. Well, a couple means 2. 。 Few means more than two. But not many more than two?
P-E-R-A-L. What does that mean?
Many.
What?
Many.
No.
No. It means two.
It means more than two, but not many more than two. Isn't that a way to define a word? More than two, but not many. So I doubt that anybody in this room knows that. I mean, I wouldn't know it except I'm a writer, and sometimes I look things up. And there are lots of words in the English language that we can't define, and consequently we use them erroneously. How the hell did I get on that subject?
Someone look up the word erroneous, please. Erroneous! Erroneous on all counts. Name that movie. Name that movie and you win a prize. You can get something from my you can get something from the table here if you can tell me that quote. Because I don't think anyone will.
Is there anything in the chest you would like back?
Is there anything in the chest that I want back? Yeah, I want my little bracelet
And if you Google it, that doesn't count. He wants his bracelet.
back. And I'm glad you asked that question. Her name is M-A-C-I. Well, anyway, I've had about 35 men or people send me an email that says, I found your treasure. I'm looking at it. Of course, I don't believe it, but I write them back and say, well, congratulations. I said, will you sell me my bracelet back? And they say, what bracelet?
He'll say congratulations. Isn't that what Forrest said to Jack Stoof before Jack Stoof sent any photos? He said congratulations. Huh.
And this one guy said that to me, that he had my treasure chest. And I said, well, I'm interested, sir. Did the hot water affect the patina on the treasure chest any? He said, thank you, and hung up. He thought I had given him a clue, and he's going to go out and look in all the hot water up and down the Rocky Mountain. People, everybody has their...
Yeah, Mama Q got it right. But I think she looked it up. Vince Vaughn says it. Erroneous on all counts. It's from Wedding Crashers. Good job. Mama Q, I will give you no, I can't give you Britney Spears. That's Ashley's. Let me pick another one. Okay, all right. Let me give you. Ooh, goddamn. This is a tough one. I can't give you best dad. Best dad already, like that. That's fine. You can't even see. Oh my God, this is so. Mama Q, can you see this? All right. What should I give Mama Q? Ooh. White Rose? How about White Rose? I've said it before. That's why. Well, that's fine. White Rose from Mr. Robot. Also, the actor who is in, and you know what we should, okay. Oh, fuck. I was going to end this on another scene, but now I want to end this on the focus scene from Stoof.com. So, Mama Q, this is yours. BD Wong. DB Wong. Ha ha ha. Do I have one? No, I don't. No, Mama Q, you give us so much. You're a fucking awesome. Loyalist is what I would call you, but I don't want to like make this about war. But you know, anyway.
Their own gig. I keep saying that, but I believe it. Yes, ma'am.
Have you left comparable treasure to your grandchildren, sir?
Do I have comparable treasures for my grandchildren? Yes. My family is taken care of, but I'm another maverick in that area. The last thing I want to do is make my kids or grandkids wealthy. I was in the art business for so many years, and I saw what inherited money can do. It's the thrill of the chase. It's the thrill in doing it yourself. I bought all my grandkids cars when they got their driver's license. I'm paying for all their education, and then they're on their own. And I don't want to. First of all, I'm really not that wealthy. I mean, I can live on the interest, and that's the definition of a wealthy person, I guess. I mean, lots of things. I have everything I want, but I don't want very much. So, but.
How did you come up with the title? Too Far to Walk.
You have to read my preface. I explain it in my preface. Well, let me read it to you. I'll read the dedication. This book is dedicated to all who have pushed me against my will and made me a better person. Here's my preface. I put a small rubber dinghy in the Madison River a few miles from West Yellowstone, Montana, and fished downstream to Baker's Hole. That part of the river was in the quietly forgotten western edge of Yellowstone Park. There were no roads, no trails, and no rangers to tell me that I wasn't supposed to do that. The river distance was about 10 miles, and the best fishing was in the bends where the water turned greenish deep and beautiful. The small boat containing my camping gear was tethered to my belt, and as I leisurely walked in the quiet river, I spent 3 days there, casually casting my fly and enjoying the solitude. The river experience, it cemented my connection to that special country, and I promised myself that someday I would make that trip again. That day never came for me, and my disappointment still casts a lonesome shadow across the Madison River. For me now, it's just too far to walk. And that.
Okay, so do people think he's just telling you guys Madison River, that's it? That's what's going on? Something along the Madison River is too far to walk, so he's allowing you to skip the first clue, and he's getting into too far to walk, which would not be the first clue, and he is telling you something along the Madison River is too far to walk. Is that truly what you guys think he's saying? I'm curious. Well, I mean, fuck it. Thank you, Lucky. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It truly does. Thank you. There's nowhere he wouldn't be seen on that stretch of the river. Well, that's not true. And what he is saying, no road. And what is he saying? No roads? The road runs right beside the Madison. In the park, it does, but outside of the park, no. Outside of the park, there are spots you can get to without a road next to it. Lucky gets my wink. Thank you, thank you. I think 0.001% of the world, I'm sorry, I think 0.001% of people would crash in the jungle in Vietnam and seriously contemplate disappearing into that jungle and starting a new life. Right. So, like, why is Forrest, like, making it such a dichotomy? Oh, gosh, I had this big choice. I could just stay in this really big, awesome, cool hellhole, or I can try to get home. Of course, 99.999% of us would say, no, I'm going to try to get home. Right? I get it. Let me see if Ashley's coming back. My wallet is gone. Oh no. Uh-oh. Day turned into nightmare. Let me do a little quick phone call. I'm going to mute you guys. Hold on, baby boo. I got to figure out how to mute myself. Sorry, guys. We had a missing wallet in a purse issue. We're trying to retrace our steps in real time. I'm reading lips. Ashley was gonna join us too. Oh, all right, hold on. God damn it. All right, I'm gonna kill some time. Oh, there's only a little bit left in this interview, and I want Ashley to join. All right, I'm just gonna put music on. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about the chase. Let's talk about the thrill. Okay, you know what? You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Here's what we're gonna do. It's a Saturday night. You guys have hung out with me now for 2 hours and 50 minutes. Let's hang out for another hour. Are you guys doing anything else? I think you guys are as big a loser as I am. So let's just be losers together. Okay? Let's be losers together. Let me buy like 2 minutes to go see if I can find Ashley's wallet. And let me see if I can buy some time for Ashley to join us. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me play some music. Let me see what I can do here.
I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts are skipping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Every day's an endless stream of cigarettes and magazines. And each town looks the same to me, the movies and the factories, and every stranger's face I see reminds me that I long to be homeward bound. I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts are skipping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Tonight I'll sing my songs again, I'll play the game and pretend. But all my words come back to me in shades of mediocrity, like emptiness in harmony. I need someone to comfort me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts are skipping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. Silently for me.
Oh, now I'm grooving. Hold on. Okay. Okay.
Talking away, I don't know what to say, I'll say it anyway. Today's my day to find you shying away. I'm coming for your love again. Take on me, take me Suddenly, what's to say? I'm upset, but please stumbling away. Started learning that life is okay. Say after me, it's for better to be safe than sorry.
Guys. Why are you all giving me so much credit? You're all still here? Like, fuck. Go home. It's Saturday night. Go enjoy it. Don't believe it, just watch. No, we're going to have Ashley join us for the last 30 minutes or so of this stream. I'm excited for that. I want to get Ashley's point of view on a lot of this shit. So we're just killing time till she gets back. So let's talk. Talk to me in chat. What questions do you have? What issues do you have with the chase? I'll take on all of that shit. Go for it. Like, no big deal. Oh, wow. 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 I don't think so. Ben, tell us the meaning of life. All right, I guess I will. Shit, man. The meaning of life? That's tough. This might work. The meaning of life? My life? This is my meaning of life. Right here. Still don't know what for. I don't worry anymore. I love to go outside. The meaning of life. This is gonna sound lame. Happiness. Happiness is the meaning. It's hard to have happiness without sorrow, right? So I guess you could say the meaning of life is balance. But I think you have the balance so that you can enjoy the happiness. Which means you have to take in the negative. You have to take in the shit. Whatever the opposite of happiness is, you gotta rein that shit in with you. It's the only way you enjoy that happiness. The meaning of life? Doing what makes you happy. I mean, or that. Or that. Okay, so don't listen to me. Happiness is not the meaning of life. But I agree with Crump, right? Like, don't listen to me. I don't know. That's nice. My vape pen died. Son of a bitch. That looks dead. I'm out of like nicotine, man. Life is a byproduct produced by sunlight with the right conditions. So a rainbow. I like that. A rainbow. The meaning of life is figuring out how to not define everything. See what I did there? I mean, that's fair play. Oh, guys. I feel like you want me to get into an argument, but I don't care. Charlie Kirk. I mean, I got time to kill. That was not the pun I was looking for. I weep for Charlie Kirk's family. A fucking tragedy.
You got your ball, you got your chain tied to me, tied me up again.
That guy, whether you loved him or hated him, invited you to debate with him. He didn't censor you. He offered his platform to give you the platform to prove him wrong. And so because he offered a platform to prove him wrong, someone decided to say, here's how you're wrong, and they shot him over it. That's fucked. Oh, hey, baby. Are you joining us? I think so. I think the people want you to join. If you don't feel it, I saw that smile. You want to join. I don't care what your opinions were of Charlie Kirk. I thought he was very important to the growth of our culture. And someone didn't like that. And so their choice was to silence them. Kind of tells me Charlie Kirk won the debate. It doesn't matter what he was debating. He won. I could have a stance where I was completely 110% against everything Charlie Kirk said, and the moment a gunman shot him in the throat is the moment Charlie Kirk won the debate. And you can tell me I'm wrong, and I don't give a shit. So yeah, this channel stands with Charlie Kirk. Love him or hate him. Fucking tragic. And if that's where society is heading, oh, we don't like you, so we're gonna shoot you? Okay. Guys, I had death threats at me before Fenbury. Leading into Fenbury, I had emails coming in and YouTube comments coming in saying, you know, Ben won't see the baseball bat that hits him in the back of the head at Fenbury. Those were the kind of comments we were getting leading into Fenbury, where Ashley and I are asking ourselves, do we even bring our children to this? Because assholes out there are making vile threats. Like, of course they don't mean it. Of course they'll never take it upon themselves to do that. But again, we live in a world where the crazy psychopaths do that. So when I have a threat that says Ben Napple won't see the baseball bat that hits him in the back of the head, I gotta take it seriously. And that, you know, that wears on me. It just does. But, you know, it kind of intoxicates me too. It excites me. It gets me into the mode of like, you know, you can try to fuck with me, but it doesn't work. Oh, I'll talk about it. Yeah, sure, I'll talk about it. You didn't win because I talked about it. You lost. Right? Anywho, I'm just killing time for Ashley. We'll see if she joins us. Crash into me. Oh, let's do me and Ashley's wedding song. Really piss off the haters, because they're all gonna watch this afterwards. So let's fucking do it. Oh, there's Ashley.
Have you summoned me with this song?
Just roll with it, baby. Just...
One day, I want to be with you. But you were so far away. A airplane could reach you. But I dreamed that you got the message. But you still wouldn't come to see me. That's why I say I've got dreams to remember. Bad dreams, sweet dreams, bad dreams, sweet dreams. Dream one day we're walking down the street.
We're walking down the street, baby.
Joe Blow come up to you.
Joe Blow come up to you.
A dream that is turned away, walked away with us. And that hurt me.
That hurt me.
That's why I got dreams.
That's why I got dreams.
Dreams to
remember.
Many, many, many dreams. Dreams to
Bad dreams.
sweet dreams, hard dreams, lovely dreams. Dreams to remember. Dreams, yeah, to remember.
If I close my eyes, will it stop?
I got to. I've been crying all night.
What's up, baby boo?
I'm just waiting for you to stop.
I love you. Did you have fun on date day?
I did.
Good. That makes me happy.
It put me to sleep.
Ashley has date night eyes.
Do I?
You do. You do. All right. We're going over the end of this Forrest Fenn interview. Talk to the people. Let me get a couple of more beers and, the final beer. The final beer.
Is this why you brought me on?
So that I can go get a final beer? Yeah, sure. That's why I brought you on. So I can get one final beer.
Okay.
I couldn't have told the audience, geez, all 50 of you, just wait for me to come back. No. I needed you to be on so that I could do that. Okay. Uh-huh.
Hi, guys. Let's let Ben get his final beer. Okay, my phone is like messed up. I couldn't find my wallet earlier because somebody bought NBA 2K and used the debit card, and it was on the couch and not in my purse. You know how that is when children take something and then you can't find it because they just don't put it back. That's what I did. I was like, what the hell? Oh, that was quick. I thought you were going to be longer than that.
No, I just needed a beer. All right, So we got to do this. I gotta pause that. We're doing the Forrest Fenn interview from 2013. I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
We got, what is this? Oh my God. We only got like 5 minutes left in this thing. Let me rewind it a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
And made me a better person. Here's my preface. I put a small rubber dinghy in the Madison River a few miles from West Yellowstone, Montana, and fished downstream to Baker's Hole. That part of the river was in the quietly forgotten western edge of Yellowstone Park. There were no roads, no trails, and no rangers to tell me that I wasn't supposed to do that. The river distance was about 10 miles, and the best fishing was in the bends where the water turned greenish deep and beautiful. The small boat containing my camping gear was tethered to my belt, and as I leisurely walked in the quiet river, I spent 3 days there, casually casting my fly and enjoying the solitude. The river experience, it cemented my connection to that special country, and I promised myself that someday I would make that trip again. That day never came for me, and my disappointment still casts a lonesome shadow across the Madison River. For me now, it's just too far to walk.
Now, thrusting you into this, does that speak to the idea that Forrest is talking about a special place along the Madison River?
I mean, yeah, he's talking about a special place along the Madison for sure.
But is that the place?
The special place?
Right.
I don't know.
Do you think he's teasing that special place?
I think so. I think I go back and forth. Well, I think, why would he say exactly the special place in any literary work?
Right.
I
Anyway.
just I don't think that that's something that I would do, and I don't think it's something he would do, to be caught in that conundrum of reading exactly where he hid his chest in a published literary work. I find that to be difficult because I think that people would really have a hard time with that.
Why? Why would people have a hard time with that?
Because if you are a treasure hunter and your goal is to figure out his treasure hunt, and if he were to just write about the spot and just describe it and put it in a book, as a treasure hunter, I'd be a bit peeved. Like, what kind of a challenge is that? Like, it's like playing hide and seek and telling someone that I'm gonna hide in the laundry room. Like, let's play hide and seek.
That's brilliant. Right there. Hold on. It's like playing hide and seek and telling you, by the way, I'm gonna hide in the laundry room.
Right.
Because it means the laundry room is where my parents conceived me, and therefore I am umbilically connected to the laundry room.
Right.
That's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. I don't think Forrest would ever tell us where the laundry room is.
I don't think so either.
What's the point?
There is no point at that point. And if I were searching, I would read that and I would say, well, there's no point in participating in this if the answer is already given. I don't want, what is there to find?
Forrest isn't going to be proven clever by saying, oh, by the way, my laundry room is on the Madison River, and then there is the laundry room. Oh, that's super clever. You fucking told us.
Right.
Like, that's... Now, there are a lot of smart people who take what he has said and go, yeah, no, of course, that's what he did. Because he wanted it over.
I don't believe that either. I really just don't.
He spent 15 years on this, or longer, which is what we've gone over tonight, since 1988. But he wants to just tell us 3 years into this, oh, by the way, it's alongside the Madison River, just in case.
When you play poker, do you sit at the table and tell everybody the cards that you have?
If I'm actually playing poker, no. I might engage in something where I pretend to make people think I'm showing them my cards. And just when they think they have figured me out, all of a sudden I have different cards, and then they're going to go, well, you were a cheater. No, I wasn't.
Kind of like how I bluffed you in Pirates Dice, and you thought that I had dice that I didn't have.
Sure. You bluffed me in Pirates Dice. Congratulations. You're so good at being a treasure hider.
I told my dad that, and he was so proud of me. Just so you know.
Ace in the hole.
But yeah, I don't think he's going to write about his super secret special spot and define it for everyone, and then talk about how he thinks that his treasure hunt could go on for thousands of years.
Right.
You're not even smart if you're saying that. That doesn't make any sense.
And that's where I got the title. Yes, sir.
First, may I suggest that you tell the audience, those of us who aren't searchers, tell the audience, those in the audience who are not searching, why the phrase "too far to walk" is so important.
I didn't say it was too far.
Okay, first of all, we know from that voice that's Toby Eunice.
I was going to say that sounds like Toby.
And Forrest is doing the same thing that I claimed in the middle of a Doug Preston question where he goes, wait, hold on. What'd he say? So Forrest is doing the same thing with it. You would think he sees Toby, he's going to go, okay, I'm going to pay attention to Toby. No, he's doing the same game. What did he say? Huh? 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 So let's hear it.
Important. That part of my preface, I think, is a metaphor for my entire life.
Too far to walk.
Looking back, you know, I've done some things that I'm not going to brag about, but I've also not done some things that I wish I had.
He's done some things that he's not going to brag about. What do you think those could be, babe?
Well, things that I wouldn't brag about were things that maybe are bad. Like maybe taking artifacts that he's not supposed to take or something.
Or
what? You tell me.
He's on a
Or being
plane.
D.B. Cooper.
Ah, there you go. Or being D.B. Cooper.
He's not going to brag about that. He could end up in the in the slammer.
In the slammer.
In the slammer.
Obituary. My what do you call it? Yeah. I wish I could have lived to do the things I was attributed to. See there? She feels the same way about that. Well, I had my gallery for 17 years in Santa Fe, and I had no education. I'd been a fighter pilot all my life. So when I opened my business, I didn't have a painting, knew nothing about business, knew nothing about art. And so I had to start from scratch. And my first 2 shows, I didn't sell so much as a book. And I finally told myself that I had a little bit of money left that I had saved 20 years in the Air Force. I said, I'm going to spend this money advertising, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to slam the door and go do something else. And it started working for me. And I learned to play Monopoly in my art gallery. Every time I sold a painting, I took the profit and bought 2 paintings. Then I took the profit and bought 4 paintings. And over a period of time, it took me 2 years before I could finance my gallery out of accounts receivable. But I learned a lot along the way. There's so much to learn. I learned that when I needed somebody to work in my accounts receivable and accounts payable office, that's a very important job in a business like that. Everything depends on cash flow. So this lady came to see me. She wanted to work for me, and I needed somebody in accounts receivable and accounts payable. So I said, let me think about it overnight. So about 8 o'clock that night, I went to her house and knocked on her door. She let me in. I wanted to see what kind of housekeeper she was. If there's stuff laying all over the floor, she's not going to work in my accounts receivable. But I want her working as a salesman out front. Different personalities have different things. You know, I've always said that salesmen, like school teachers, have shelf lives. And it's about 6 years. Dorothy will say that's not true.
Yeah, it's true.
If you own your own business, it's a little bit different. But I learned a lot in the art business. I learned a lot about people, and I learned a lot about business, and I learned a lot about life. You know, so many writers. I don't want to be critical, but I know so many writers that are so much better than I am. Everything is researched perfectly. Everything is correct. The commas are in the right spot, and you go right down the center line. And I told this writer the other day she should be writing Encyclopedia Britannicas. It's no fun to read. Everything's there, but it's no fun. I said, when are you going to walk out to how do you know where the edge is if you don't go out there and look? I never wanted to go down the center line. I want to bounce off the curbs. And I think I've done that. I got caught a few times, but I think if I had my life to do, and I said in one of these books that if I had my life to do over, I change nearly everything. I do the same thing over and over again. You know, you read in these different magazines, they ask a question, what would you change in your life? I wouldn't change anything. Everything's been perfect. I think that's such an idiot thing to say. I think I do the same thing over again. Nothing wrong with slamming a door and starting out new again. Out of the night that covers me, dark is the pit from pole to pole. I'll thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul.
Oh.
And I think that's a good place to stop.
Hold on, I want to hear that again.
Would you change in your life? I wouldn't change anything. Everything's been perfect. I think that's such an idiot thing to say. I think I do the same thing over again. Nothing wrong with slamming a door and starting out new again. Out of the night that covers me, dark is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. And I think that's a good place to stop, don't you? Thank you.
So that is 2013. I don't even think you and I have dissected that interview.
Maybe not that one. I know I've listened to it a bunch on my own, but I don't know if we have done it together on a stream.
Well, I'm glad you were able to join me in the end of it.
I am too. My date night eyes woke up.
What was date night for you tonight?
Oh, thank you. Children giving me dollars for Robux. Mom, put $5 on my debit card. Here's.
Can I buy this? Here you go.
I'm gonna go buy Robux.
I'm gonna go live on Tuesday. You know, this is gonna keep going forward, but
I'm gonna go live on Tuesday.
you're gonna take over my shit?
With you. I just don't like
okay.
that you don't include me. That's rude.
I'm saying I'm going to go live on Tuesday, as in I'm going to be doing a stream.
There, you're doing it again.
Oh, my God. We are going to do a stream on Tuesday.
Okay, that's much better. So this I go live. I do stream. I dissect Forrest Fenn interviews. I.
Good grief. Mama Q says, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. I think that's from what Forrest was talking about. I love it. And I think this chase is at the point of, you know, what are we all here for? I think we're facing that question head on. I think we're dealing with the question of what the fuck are you still here for? I'm not going to give you that answer. Ashley is not going to give you that answer. Forrest isn't going to give you that answer. Why are we still here 5 years after his treasure chest was found? A part of me thinks because that's how fucking powerful this is. That, of course, it's what Forrest wanted, but Forrest couldn't have predicted this, could he, babe? I don't think he could have predicted you being here, right? No way.
No.
Can you tell the folks that watch this, and not everyone is here tonight with us, but they'll watch later. Can you tell everyone a little bit of what like this chase means to us without getting too deep in the weeds?
I love these questions that you ask me just randomly, and you wouldn't want me to pull some answers for you. Just like, go ahead, do your fucking.
No, I'm listening to you.
Why? Why do you have the soundboard queued up?
I didn't mean to hit the soundboard. I made a mistake. Keep going.
I mean, I don't know that I speak for you. Speaking for us, Forrest Fenn was a very special and unique individual. And I think that what he's left us with, if the fact that we can look through and listen to these interviews and what he said and have this knowledge of his life, I think he really did leave a legacy, and maybe it's something that all of us are interested in as we are here, because we are still here and we're still writing our legacy. And I think he makes us think about what happens when we're gone and what's left when that happens and what people say. And for me, part of reconciling that in my own life is learning and understanding other people and how they left their legacies and how that influences what I do in my own life as it pertains to my own legacy. And so I think there's something very fascinating about that. He was able to do something that many of us are not able to do. We haven't done. It makes us question and really think about our own lives and how we interact with one another. For me, I think that's kind of the magic of who he is and what he left us. I know many people that aren't around now, and some that are, many people that I've crossed paths with, and there are few that have impacted me in a way that I not only remember but retell the stories that they are a part of in my life. And to have known Forrest Fenn, and not even just met him, but to have even known of him. Like for me, I know that you've met him, but for me to even have known of him and have these things to listen to and to know and hear stories through his grandson who is here that speaks to us, that's something that's really magical to me. And knowing and figuring out what it is that he intended for us to know while he was here and when he was gone. That's something that I think that it's interesting, it's intoxicating, and it's important.
A lot of people try to explain why Shiloh is still interacting with us. A lot of folks think that Shiloh's interactions with this community is to placate us, is to distract us, is to siphon the heat, to let some steam out. To which I'd say, that might be your choice of how to deal with us, the community, now in the year of our Lord 2025. Shiloh could have just told us, go home. Shiloh could have just told us, my granddad didn't have anything more plan for you guys. He had a treasure chest. It was found, and that's it. Now, the people who tell us to go home keep saying that's what Shiloh said. He's never done that. I'm the biggest loudmouth left in the chase. I might, dare I say the biggest loudmouth ever in the history of the chase. And Shiloh talks to me. And he tells me that there's jars still out there. Let's do Fenbury. He's already sending messages to folks about Fenbury 2026. We know that he is a part of a whole world that's swarmed by court litigation nonsense. Maybe, just maybe, Shiloh hasn't told us all to go home, because he could have, because we shouldn't go home. So I thank Shiloh for what he's done for this community. Other people don't see what he's done. Other people misconstrue what he say. Other people take what he says and turns it into something else. You know, all right. Nothing we can do about those people. But those of us who keep our heads clear, those of us who understand what you just said, Ashley, in relation to Shiloh, we can all see there's something bigger than us still at work. So I appreciate that. I've worked my ass off for years to try to show this community that something else is brewing. And I haven't been able to tell the community what that is because I don't know. But I have worked my ass off to try to not figure out, but I wanted to figure out what that is by getting myself ingrained in it, emaciated with it. I want to know what's going on. I've done everything I could to get into the position to help with whatever's going on. I think I won the job. I think I could have been living the job this whole time, babe. And I think maybe you would say, babe, that makes sense. That's what you've been doing. That's what I've been supporting. I'm putting words in your mouth, but something bigger than us is going on. We're still waiting. We don't know what we're waiting for, but it's not more status quo. Did I sum up your thoughts and my thoughts combined just there?
I think so, yeah.
Well, then that's where we're at, guys. And as we always do on these streams, we have final thoughts. Those final thoughts are over. Let's watch the final scene. Come.
Hi, Chris.
Mr. Fromm, good to see you.
Nice shirt.
Thank you, sir. Chris. Thank you.
Chris. Sit down, Chris.
I thought I'd wear a shirt today, you know, being the last day and all.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. But wear one tomorrow, though, okay? Because tomorrow is going to be your first day. If you'd like to work here as a broker. Would you like that, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Good. We couldn't be happier. So, welcome. Was it as easy as it looked?
No, sir. No, sir, it wasn't.
Good luck, Chris.
Thank you. Okay, sir.
I almost forgot.
Thank you. This part of my life, this little part, is called happiness.
Good night, guys.